The dominant journalistic position is that you should not interview or do anything to platform anti-vaxxers. You should only present them after you've edited down your interview and shown them in a terrible light. So it used to be in the 1960s, reporters were bringing in new voices to the conversation, but now, since the 1990s, all right, it seems like reporters and the most powerful players in the mainstream media want to reduce the number of voices.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s rumored running mate, Aaron Rodgers. On October 23, 2023, during one of his weekly appearances on The Pat McAfee Show, Rodgers took a veiled shot at the Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, referring to Kelce as Mr. Pfizer for his participation in an awareness campaign urging people to get vaccinated against COVID. McAfee made sure to note on air that he was vaccinated, an implicit rejection of Rodgers' position, but he didn't challenge his friend about it, and he expressed surprise afterward that anyone expected him to.
Yeah, I get that from journalists all the time. They have so much contempt for me that I didn't, quote, challenge, many of my more dissident guests. But I got better content from them. I got, a better conversation from them because I wasn't imposing my moral judgment. So journalists often venerate challenging guests, and it makes them look tough to their peers, but they do it in a way that usually invokes moral judgments or other judgments that shuts down their guests and puts people in a defensive crouch and then limits the things that they'll say. So a more easygoing approach without the judgment tends to, elicit far better interviews. But I just still keenly remember the contempt various journalists gave me because I didn't challenge Richard Spencer or other members of Kevin McDonald, etc. I didn't challenge them enough. Right, the crying Nazi. It was a crying Nazi. I didn't challenge him enough. I remember, and this was a journalist who was essentially a member of Antifa, but also working as a journalist. Right, many journalists are effectively members of Antifa. Right, journalism is opposed. Their real agenda is, their left-wing activism. And because I didn't pronounce enough moral judgments in my interviews with people. Right, judgments that would shut people down and completely, spoil an interview or, if not completely, end it.
That's not the line of work he's in, folks. He was just kibitzing with his free-thinking friend.